Hello students, today I would like to talk with you regarding radiochemical method used in pharmaceutical analysis. So what are radiochemical method? From the name what it indicates. So what is radio? It is not a normal radio or not radio waves. So these are radio mean radiation. Okay. So from this method you will see that this word is a combination of two words, radio and chemical. So radiations are involved in chemical reaction, and then what is the importance in pharmaceutical analysis, how we analyze a sample with radiation. So there are different methods of radiochemical analysis, so we will discuss one by one. So first of all, we will talk about isotopic dilution method. So what is isotopic dilution method, which is IDM? Okay, is used to determine the quantity of a non-radioactive constituent in a mixture of closely related compounds which are difficult to separate quantitatively by conventional method. It is extensively used for inorganic and organic mixture. Okay, so it is a very simple technique. I will give you one example. So if you have a beaker and you have one sample with sodium as a constituent, okay, you have a sample with sodium and you want to know the amount of sodium inside the beaker. Okay, you have one beaker with your sample and the sample contains sodium and you want to quantify how much sodium is inside. Okay, so how you will determine? By radiation. So you will add from outside a known amount of radioactive sodium, a known amount of radioactive sodium with non-specific activity of radiation. Okay, you know radiation has specific activity. So you have one sample in a beaker and you will add from outside sodium which is radioactive known amount. Okay, and then you have to homogenize this mixture. When you homogenize this mixture, the sodium which is radioactive and the with known weight and non-specific activity is equally distributed with the sodium present in the solution. Now you have to extract pure amount of sodium. Okay, okay, the pure amount of sodium which you extract by different method, through fraction distillation, by boiling, by any method, you have to collect pure amount and not all amount. You can just have a minute amount, but you have to collect pure sodium. This pure sodium, but it is not depending upon the concentration how much you extract. You will extract and it contains both radioactive and non-radioactive. Now you have the pure amount with radioactive and non-radioactive amount, and then you the non specific activity is S0 of added unknown. Okay, so then you will put the amount in this equation and then you will measure the amount of radioactivity in the extracted compound. Okay, so first of all you have a beaker with unknown activity of sodium in the beaker and you want to know the amount or concentration of the sodium. Then you will add from outside a known amount of sodium with radioactivity in the solution. Then you homogenize it, then extract the pure amount, and then you will put the values in the formula. So weight of unlabeled compound to be determined which is present in the beaker. Weight of added labeled compound means with radioactivity, the amount of sodium which you added from outside. Specific activity of added labeled compound, the specific activity of sodium which you added in the sample. And specific activity of isolated pure compound, the activity which you of isolated pure compound. Then you can subtract it and then you have your weight of unlabeled compound to be determined or amount of sodium present in the solution. The radioactivity of the isolated pure portion of the compound is measured. The ratio of labeled and non-labeled molecules depend upon the relative masses of radio-labeled substances added and unlabeled substances present in the solution. So you have to dilute with radioactive sodium. This example, radioactive sodium, you can have any molecule, radioactive sodium, and then you have to extract it, and you have to measure the specific activity of the extracted pure compound, and then you have to place all the values in the equation, and then you have your weight of unlabeled compound to be determined. So this is simple isotopic dilution method. Now you have to read different research paper to understand. So this is a research paper, and I quoted it as it is from the research paper, and I give the reference down below. You can also check. So they said that previously by this technique, which I give you example, the radioactivity, this paper reports the result of study of the total body sodium. Okay, you can also measure amount of sodium inside the body. So what you have to do, you have to inject radioactive sodium into the body and allow to become distributed throughout the body tissue, and then determine the serum sodium specific activity. So you have to determine then after 2-3 points, that after 1 hour you will take the sample of urine and also the serum, and then you have to measure the radioactive sodium, because it is totally distributed in the body. And then it should be pointed out that this method makes no distinction between extracellular and intracellular sodium. So it will not distinguish that what is extracellular sodium and what is intracellular sodium. It will give you the amount of sodium inside the body present in extracellular and intracellular solution. But now, because of new technique, new technology, new method analysis, you have to just go to the laboratory and give the blood sample, and then they will tell you what a total amount of sodium in the body. But this technique, previously, this is a paper from 1954, so they are measuring through this technique of radiochemical analysis. Now the next method, radiometric analysis. In this analysis, the radioactive agent is used indirectly to determine the quantity of inactive compound. The radioactive reagent is of non-activity is used to isolate the analyte from the other components of the sample. The amount of analyte directly proportional to the activity of the product. So you have a non-radioactive reagent which you will add it to isolate the analyte. I give you the example of magnesium and zinc. So if you want to determine the concentration of magnesium or zinc in a sample, you will just add radionucleotide 32P phosphorus. 32P is radioactive nucleotide of phosphorus. Then you will extract the precipitate in the form of magnesium phosphate Mg3PO4 bracket 2 Zn3PO4 2. So you will have the extract, and then you measure the radioactivity of this compound, and by this formula you will know that how much zinc is attached with how much phosphorus. So you will have the precipitate, and then you will determine the concentration of magnesium and zinc. So this is very simple method, that you have a sample of unknown quantity of magnesium, you will add phosphorus from outside, then you mix it, and then you have precipitate, isolate it, and then you will measure the radioactivity of the precipitate. So I will also give you examples. This is also a paper, so it requires only 2 hours of a student time. So it will need just 2 hours of a student time. So if you want to measure the concentration of chloride, you will add radioactive sodium inside the solution, and then you have silver chloride, and then you will measure the concentration a radioactivity of this silver chloride ion. So silver is 1:1 ratio, so you have that much amount of chloride in the solution. So you have to read this article for better understanding. So it is also an old article, but it is used to determination of chloride by precipitation with radioactive silver, which is 1110 Ag. So next method, neutron activation analysis. So what is neutron activation analysis? So I will give you one example. Arsenic. Arsenic 75 is the stable isotope of arsenic. But if we bombard neutrons, okay, if we bombard neutron, so it will disturb the ratio of atomic number, atomic mass. So you have to remember what is radioisotope and what is isotope. So it will imbalance the number of proton and neutron. So we have one more neutron, and then it will radiate some gamma radiations, and then we will know that from the spectrum, okay, every compound has specific spectrum, and the values are already given in the internet, and also there are different charts, so you can compare. So then you will know that which amount which compound is present or which element is present in how much concentration. The basic mechanism of analysis is the bombardment of neutrons. So you have a sample, you will bombard the neutron, and then you will analyze, okay, the spectrum or the radiation to the element to be determined, measuring the activity of radioactive element on nuclear reaction. And AA was used, which is neutron activation analysis, was introduced for the first time in 1936. Okay, so this is also very old technique. Found that sample containing certain rare earth elements became highly radioactive after exposure to a source of neutron. So if you have a sample and some rare earth element, if you bombard this sample with neutron source, you will have certain elements which are rarely present. Okay, they recognize the potential of applying nuclear reaction on sample followed by measurement of induced radioactivity to facilitate both qualitative and quantitative identification of the elements present in the sample. So radioactive element has a specific and well-known decay rate. So every element have a decay rate. Okay, parent compound must have to decay into daughter or son element. So everything is defined. Okay, so then you will analyze by half-life or different method of analysis that which type of radioactive element is present, and you can also estimate the concentration. Now what are the basic required source of neutron? Acylator, nuclear reactor, nuclear fission. You already learned about previous reaction about nuclear fission reaction. So once a nuclear reaction start, it is difficult to stop. So it is also very important that for nuclear war, that's why every country is thinking before having a nuclear war that how you will stop it. So it is also not possible to stop a nuclear war. And instrumentation for detection. So how you will detect, okay, and retain knowledge of the reaction. So if you don't know the reaction, how to analyze the reaction, how you analyze the spectrum of radioactivity, you will not know what type of rare earth elements are present or what type of sample is it. So you have to know about retain knowledge of the reaction and the outcomes of the reaction. So next is radioimmune assay. What is radioimmune assay? So this process is based on the combination with radio labeled antigen and unlabeled antigen for binding to a specific antibody. The complex is separated out and its radioactivity is measured. So I already give you an example below that if we have a labeled antigen and unlabeled antigen with antibody, okay, so then it is directly proportional that radioactive antigen will also bind with antibody. Okay, then we can measure the amount of labeled antigen with the antibody and also the free antigen, so the complex and the free one, and then we have the amount of radioactive antigen binding with antibody. It's also important for computation binding assay that the antigen is binding on the same side or on different sides. So if it is binding with the same side, so we have 1-to-1 ratio. So if it is binding to another side, maybe all the labeled and also all the unlabeled antigen will bind. So this method based on the ability of an unlabeled form of substance to inhibit competitively the binding of radioactively labeled substance by specific antibody. This method can be useful for quantitative analysis of various drugs, reproductive hormones and insulin. So now what is autoradiography? Autoradiography is an imaging technique that uses radioactive source contained within the exposed sample. In vitro autoradiography method involves the isolation of cellular components such as DNA, RNA, lipid or protein followed by labeling with suitable radioisotope. So in vitro is something different than in vivo. So in vitro is in a test tube and in vivo in the living organism. So if we have in vitro, so we will extract or we will isolate DNA, RNA, label with radioisotope, and then we will do experiment in the test tube or in a tube, okay, and then we will detect the radiation in a gamma on the camera, you can say, which is a detect radiations like gamma radiation. So in vivo is radioisotopes are tagged with radioactive tracer administered orally or by injection. The distribution of radiation is evaluated in thin tissue or whole body chirosection. So in what is in vivo? In vivo is actually for, I will give you example for bone scan. So if you want to do a bone scan with radioisotope, you will use MDP kit. So this is the name of a kit which is MDP. You will label it with technetium 99 labeled. Okay, so when you label it, you will inject it into the patient. It will take the MDP kit, take the radioisotope to all the bones of your body. So it will deposit on your bones, and then you will detect the radiation on the gamma camera. And also for the PET scan, so if you go for a PET scan, for which is for use for cancer, so it will goes all your cancerous tissue. So it will detect the cancer tissue and will start to accumulate there, and you will detect radiation in positron emission tomography. So these are the common isotopes used in autoradiography, which is sulfur, hydrogen, carbon, iodine, phosphorus, and it will you will determine that where you would only detect this radioisotope, and the other molecular radio tracer which takes these molecules or these radioisotopes to the organ of interest, and you will study different cellular organs and also study protein modification or DNA or RNA sequencing also perform. You can also label DNA RNA with 32p, which is phosphorus. So these are the reference. So I am very thankful much for your attention, and if you have any question you can ask. Thank you very much.